Okay, hi everyone. My name's Ian Fales. I'm from Befores and Afters magazine, and you're in a Then and Now session at FMX. Thank you so much for coming along. You're at a really interactive, tangible session at FMX, which we don't always do. And I'm going to start by welcoming to the stage Begoña. How are you? Please welcome her.
Hello, hello. Hello, everyone.
Basically, as you hopefully have worked out by now, we're going to be doing a live Makeup Effects Prosthetics application demo, which is super cool. Yeah. And we're doing it on your brother.
I am, yeah. We're going to be doing it on my brother. Yeah.
I had high hopes that I might have been the model for this.
Oh, there's another 2 sessions. There's one tomorrow and another one on Friday, so if you want.
No, I'll back out of that.
Okay,
thanks.
that's fine.
But basically, you know, we talk a lot about digital visual effects in FMX, and I feel like even more than ever, there's a place for practical makeup effects. And in fact, the big shows, big TV series, the big films are awash with practical effects, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've worked in the industry. I'm going to let you tell everyone about some of your history.
Okay.
But the coolest thing is going to be this live demo. When it happens, I actually want to encourage people to walk up here and look at it closely. We're going to have it on the screen as well. We're going to have lots of time for questions with me walking around with the microphone. But basically really interactive, and come and take a selfie. I'm very happy people to come up on stage, just don't get in the way of BV, and take photos. So that's the kind of session it's going to be. Sounds like fun, right?
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
Let's talk about you and your history in makeup effects a little bit. How did you get started?
So, how did I get started? So, let's talk about the beginning of time, really. So, I'm Begoña. People call me Bibi. It's easier for everyone to pronounce. I was born in Spain. I moved to the UK. I lived in Germany for a while. And then I went back to the UK and I traveled around the US as well. But basically, I am a trained artist. I studied fine art, so that is my main background from the very, very beginning. So I did illustration, drawing, and sculpting, and that was very figurative, so meaning very realistic. So that's the way it was taught back in southern Spain. And at the age of 15, I started doing cosplay, if you guys know what that is.
Yes, of course.
Cool. So I started doing cosplay. I still do it. So I've been doing cosplay for 24 years, yeah. And that's how I actually got started. So it was thanks to a hobby I had. I've realised that this could be an actual career, because I've always been passionate about films. This is always what it's been about. It's been about characters, film, sequential art. And yeah, it ended up being my job in the end, which is great.
Yeah. And by the way, a very exciting thing, which Begoña just mentioned, is that we're doing the live demo here, but she also has a booth down on level 1 where after this session, we'll continue the demo, I think, if we need to. But also tomorrow and the next day at 12:30, she's going to do 2 more live makeup effects demos. So come along to that to get a picture of how it all works. You also have a book here that's available, and I'll put up a QR code to scan later on so you can have a look at that. But the important thing is we're going to have lots of questions. I'm going to ask one really hard question to begin with.
Okay.
You have to tell us about the Matrix tights that you're
Matrix
wearing.
tights. I love The Matrix. I really love The Matrix, one of the best films, one of my favourite films. I actually met someone 2 weeks ago who doesn't like The Matrix.
Oh.
I know, but it's okay.
Not your friend anymore.
Well, he's my supervisor. He's my friend. So, yeah.
Right. What are you actually going to do today? Should we talk about, or is it still a surprise?
It's a
I
surprise, guys.
haven't been told what we're actually doing today. It's that secretive, actually.
Let's talk about it, because you're going to see, as soon as I put the prosthetic on top of my brother's face, you're going to see what this is about. Anyone likes The Last of Us?
Yes.
Yeah, good, excellent. So it's going to be The Last of Us inspired, yeah? So it's going to be someone who's like mid-transformation into what they are. There's like mushroomy zombies, or something like this, yeah.
What sort of projects have you worked on recently
So,
that you're allowed to talk about?
right, the most recent one I cannot talk about, NDA, this really cool stuff, but it's a really cool film. The things I sculpted got approved, so I'm very excited to see that in the big screen. Thank you, yay! And so I've worked in film and TV for the past few years. I first started with, there's a comedian in the UK called Michael McIntyre. I don't know if you would know about him. You do? Oh, wow, cool. He's really famous back there. So I started doing transformations on him. So I did that in 2016. So I've been working, like, I usually say I've been a professional as long as I started being paid, right? So that was 2016, and I've been working ever since. And the more years that passed, the more it progressed, the bigger projects I've worked on. I worked on Aquaman 2, I worked on The Witcher. I also do props, so I do a lot of armor stuff. So I worked on The Witcher for that kind of stuff. Elven Ears, a lot of music videos as well. I love doing music videos because I'm usually my own boss and I design my own characters and my own makeup. So I can do my own things. And do you know the band Bring Me the Horizon? Right. Hey, yeah, good. So there's a music video called Strangers, I think it's called. So I designed the makeup for that. I did the makeup for that. That specific music video was 80 prosthetics that we had to apply throughout 3 days on set. And I did other bands such as Cradle of Filth. You know Cradle of Filth? Yeah. That was the first job this year, actually. So I got to do prosthetics to design, sculpt, and apply prosthetics on that as well. Bands such as Enter Shikari. I've done a lot of different things, so there's sometimes, I don't really remember everything I worked on, so just go and check IMDb. So everything that I'm allowed to be on should be there. So, yeah.
And I'm just showing a couple of images here of things that you've been working on. I'll go back to one of them, is you doing some airbrushing, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. What was this from?
Right, so this is a personal project. So later on, when you come to my booth to get one of my books, you will see the front of the cover. So it's this person in the middle of the cover, and that's the same demon. So essentially, it was a character inspired in Chinese folklore, right? So this is my partner over here. He is of Chinese descendants, and I wanted to do something to celebrate his heritage and things like this. And I wanted to create my own character based on that folklore. So we did a demon called Yao Wai. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But one of these is one of the variations that I did. So I did that one in the cover. There's red. This one here was for an event in Italy called Rimini Comics. I do a lot of events, Comic Cons and things like that as well. Yeah, there you go. So that's the red one. So essentially, it's the same prosthetics. So when you do create prosthetics, everything is very practical, right? There is a lot of computer applications as well. So we got ZBrush, we sculpt on ZBrush and things like that. Sometimes we still do practical, traditional things such as sculpting with clay, like hand sculpting. And you can sculpt a design, you can make a mold out of that, and after that mold, you can just make copies of that same prosthetics, and you could do essentially as many as you need. So when you work in a film, such as, for example, X-Men, let's say that, the first X-Men, the Mystique, she took 10 hours to do, right? She took 10 hours to make up. And all those prosthetics that she was wearing, which are very, very small and very intricate, all of those, at the end of the day, they had to be put in the bin. They had to create new ones and then apply again all of those the next day. So every day was 10 hours of makeup for like 5 minutes shooting. So
amazing. Let's have a look at a few more pics. Mm-hmm. What's going on here?
That's the Joker. So that's a collaboration I did with a friend of mine in Vienna in 2022. That's where I debuted the book. So I published the book during that event. And so essentially I sculpted the whole prosthetics of the Joker. So that is 2 prosthetics, actually. It's just the face and the nose. And I applied everything on the day. He made the costume, he made the wig. It took about 5 hours to apply. So it's like 5 hours. So it consisted on a bald cap as well. He's got very beautiful hair, so we had to hide that because the Joker's got very distinctive, receding hair. So we had to cover that. So you would cover that with a bald cap first, and then you will apply the prosthetics. Then you would do all the makeup, as in like all the painting on the prosthetics, all the blending and stuff. Apply the wig, make the eyebrows, final touches, and it took about 5 hours of non-stop makeup.
Wow. Okay, just a couple more pics here. I really like this one. It feels subtle, but probably, I imagine, involved quite a lot of delicate work.
It did. So this one, I'm assuming a lot of people are familiar with Cyberpunk 2020 or 2077. Yeah. So it's inspired by cyberpunk and cybernetic pieces on the face. Yeah. So this one over here, because I wanted to make it symmetrical, and it's all hand sculpted, right? So when you sculpt on ZBrush, is so great because you just put on symmetry and then everything's symmetrical, right? When you do that practical, when you do that by hand, you need to do that with tools. There you go. So you've got like metal tools, your calipers, or you can sculpt one of the sides, trace it, flip it, and then trace it back on the other side of the face, things like this. So it's quite delicate, it's quite intricate. So it takes a lot of time to get it just right.
Okay, maybe I'll skip this next one. But this is also interesting. Wow.
That's my partner over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's a very brave person.
Yeah. He's my model for everything. So yeah. So it's sort of like a cyberpunk-inspired character as well.
Right. Awesome. Well, should we get started on your brother? Would that work?
Yeah, that's great.
Can we please welcome up to the stage Alejandro?
Hey.
Oh, I was looking over there. You're there.
There we go. Take a seat.
Okay.
Great. So as we go, we're going to be, you can be asking questions and things like that. You guys can ask questions as well. So it's easier for me to, leave it to Ian to manage all questions and things like that while I'm working on the model. Because sometimes I get just really focused, But asking the questions you want to know. So the prosthetic we're going to be applying is this thing over here.
Yep, we'll jump to the video now so everyone can see.
Yeah.
There he is. Great.
Yeah, so you can see like the mushroomy things. So it's quite soft. So when you create prosthetics, there's a few materials you can use. Nowadays, the best thing to use would be silicone. Silicone mimics skin really well because it's a translucent material. Back in the day, they would use things such as foam latex. Foam latex is really opaque. So it doesn't really, when the light hits that prosthetic, it doesn't bounce and it doesn't get absorbed the same way skin would or silicone would, right? So silicone is translucent, so it copies skin better than any other material. So these are made in silicone, and they are encapsulated in a thin film layer of a cap plastic, and that's what's going to be dissolved. And once you dissolve it, it's going to be blended really well onto the face, And then it will be the process of painting and making my brother look really gruesome. And then we get a Last of Us zombie. Right.
BB, how many times have you put your brother under a Makeup Effects appliance or prosthetic?
0. This is the very first time. Yes.
Wow.
So, yeah. Any questions for the model? That's good as well. It's good to know how the model feels under the prosthetic. So sometimes when I do a demo, some people ask, so is it uncomfortable? Is it hot under there? Can you move? Can you breathe? So any of those questions are always welcome.
BB, what kind of prep? I mean, imagine that's what you're doing now. What kind of prep do you need to do to your brother's skin or face?
So He's shaved today, so things like facial hair, when it's like a beard, right, if it's like stubble or things like that, the hair, that type of hair is really hard, right? So if you put something on top of that, that's going to be a barrier between your prosthetic and the skin. So anything you put in there, the glue is not going to grab onto the skin. Therefore, the prosthetic is not going to glue down. It's not going to work. It's going to separate. It's going to fall off. So the person, ideally, will have to be clean shaven, but there's ways of working around that kind of stuff. So, for example, there's another picture. I don't know if you know the fawn.
Yeah, we'll go to that later on and show people.
Yeah. So I can show you a picture later of my partner, which is the guy that you saw earlier there with the cyberpunk eyes. He's got a full beard and a full, like, proper mustache, yeah? There's ways of working around that. So they did that in Coming to America 2 and Coming to America 1 with Eddie Murphy. He had a mustache. And what they did, they just covered the whole thing. They just flattened it down with glue as good as possible. And then they would apply the prosthetics on top. And if you do it well, it works. So, but ideally, you know, because my brother over here, he just had a bit of a stubble, then we had to shave that.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Did you have to make a mold of his face to make that?
Right. Did I have
Kevin asked,
Yeah.
do you have to make a mold of your brother's face in order to do that appliance?
Ideally, yes. If you want something that is custom made and bespoke, absolutely. This one over here, I did a more generic shape, right? Me and my brother, we've got an oval shape, you know, then we're more or less the same kind of size of head. I've got a live cast of myself. So I sort of, you know, calculated with my own live cast. So I sculpted that on myself first. So yeah, but ideally it would be a live cast of the person you're going to be applying makeup on. Absolutely, yeah.
Phoebe, I've got some bad news for you. I'm not prepared to shave my beard for the demos tomorrow. I know you're really disappointed to hear that.
That's all right.
But Kevin is. Right, we'll let you get started into it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, have a think about any questions you want to ask. And once, you know, things really get ramped up on there, I honestly don't mind people getting up and having a closer look if they'd like to. We've got a question already. I'll come round.
Hello. I just wanted to know how long does it take to make those applications, like this one is, in particular.
The prosthetic itself.
Yeah.
It took me, I think it took me about a day, I would say. I mean, I sculpted it really quickly, and I sculpted it on a flat surface. So sometimes that's what you could do to make something more generic that doesn't necessarily need to be in the shape of the person you're going to be applying the thing on. You can do it on a flat surface. So I did that, and then I made a mold out of it. And then the process of actually casting that actually takes a bit longer because it's a very thick mold. So you need to airbrush the cap plastic, which is containing the silicone. So that's the encapsulation of the silicone piece. That takes a bit of longer time. So you need to airbrush. You need to wait until everything is set, is dry, before you can apply actually the first pour, the actual pour of silicone. And it's not too long, but it takes a bit of practice. But anyone can do it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to clean your face with a bit of alcohol. Okay. So if you right here, close your eyes. Cierra los ojos. So what I'm doing here, I'm just preparing the face with a bit of cierra los ojos, with a bit of alcohol. See.
You'll deserve a beer afterwards.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll get him dinner. It's just to prevent any debris or anything in the face. You know, I mean, he's washed the face, he's prepared the face, he's shaved and everything. But anything, you know, pollution in the air, things like that, we just prepare the skin as well as we can so the glue can actually grab as much as possible onto the skin, yeah? So this glue is prepared for prosthetics. It's a silicone-based glue. So it's a silicone prosthetics-based glue, right? And it's like a surgical glue. It's safe to use on skin. It's going to grab, unless I remove it for him, he's going to stay like that for like a day or two. So,
Okay.
yeah. Cool. I'm going to cover your eye. Te voy a cubrir el ojo, ¿vale? Sí. Sí. A ver, cierra.
Okay, I think we've got a question here.
Hi, very nice meeting you.
Hello.
My question is,
Hi.
my question is, how many details do you put into the procedure when you are modeling it? Like I saw on the picture that there are some kind of like skin details already in it, and how much happens with the detail while you are doing it on the person? Like are there some texture pastes or something where you do more details into it, or how is it?
Yeah, so anything that is, let's say, 3D, it has to be sculpted. So things such as skin pores and skin wrinkles, any skin texture, it has to be sculpted, because otherwise you can't add it afterwards. You could do it with painting, but then that will defy the purpose of the prosthetics. So the prosthetics it's like a 3D thing that you can see, and then the person can turn around, and then the light can interact with the person. If it's 2D, if it's just painted, that only works from one angle. It's not going to work from other angles. So anything for the final piece, you need to do as much as possible, like sculpting, designing, skin textures. There's tools for that. It's pretty much like ZBrush, if you know ZBrush. Like you get like those skin pores, and you just go around. Well, we get those things. We get like spheres that you can actually use on actual clay, or like skin pore tools. They're like a pencil, and you just like tap, 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 tap. So as much as you can, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to let you keep going there, Bibi, so we don't run out of time.
Yeah, that's fine. So prosthetics application is a very long process, because we're talking and we're explaining in here, yeah? Most likely we're not going to finish by the time we finish the talk, but we will finish at the booth. So there's one of the booths, my booth is at what's the area called?
It's down in level 1. So
Level
there's
1.
the schools on one side, and then it's the other side.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I will be there. I will be finishing the whole thing in there. You can see everything up close, you know. And right.
Yeah.
You comfortable? Yes.
Here it goes.
So it's going to be like that. Look over here. Thank you. I'm just checking where it's going to be applied. There you go. Just right over there. I would usually mark it down with some powder, so I know exactly where I'm going to be applying it. They should be right.
Now, someone had a question here. Is that right?
Hi, I was wondering how nervous the model is right now.
¿Estás nervioso? No. He's not nervous.
If you have never done anything like this before, but are interested to get into that, what resources do you recommend, or how to get started with this, like real quick?
If you want to get into prosthetics, it would be avoid YouTube. There's a lot of not good stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of really good stuff. You need to know where to look, really. But that's like everything and anything. I would say get my book. So to put you in context, I also teach at one of the universities and one of the academies in the UK. So the academy is called Delamar Academy. It's a makeup academy. And they teach one of the... before I started teaching there, I thought it was one of the most reputable academies. So it's got a really good reputation. And I started working there this year. And before there, I used to teach in one of the universities at Pinewood. So the way I teach in my book is exactly the way I was taught by Neil Gorton. So Neil Gorton is one of the main guys in the industry for special makeup effects. And the way I pitch it, if you go to the UK and you go to uni in the UK, that's 12 grand a year. My book is 35 euros. So you save a lot of money. So I would say just get a good manual that you know is going to be from reputable sources. You know there are professionals working behind that, and it's not, it's not just any video you can find, I would say. Thank you.
Awesome.
Vale, cierra. So I'm just going to lightly place it there for now.
What glue did you use, BB?
So I'm using this glue over here. That's fine, it's not going to fall off. is this one over here. So prosthetics materials are really expensive. So something like this would be 60 euros. But they are specially formulated for this kind of stuff. So this one is actually a new glue that I haven't used before, but it's essentially the same. All the brands are essentially the same. And they are specially formulated for prosthetics. You see, so I start gluing things down, then I start like slowing down my speech.
That's okay. Concentrate. It is your brother. Got another question here.
Yeah.
If a project requires like movement or something within the prosthetic, would you work directly with like the VFX supervisor or VFX team to maybe find a way how to bring SFX and VFX together? Or is that going over the production itself, or how would you do that?
Well, you need to collaborate. So you need to know if it's a, let's say, a character that throughout the film is close-ups and is prosthetics, and then you get long shots and medium shots, and that's more like VFX. You need to collaborate. So that's a collaboration process. So everything has to be done down to head of makeup, concept arts, all of these things. So it has to be a collaborative process, because it's not going to be so detached that you're not going to be communicating. You have to, yeah. Thank you.
Sorry.
Aguanta esto aquí. Cierra los ojos. So what I'm doing as well, I'm just going to put some glue on his eyebrow. And that glue is just going to flatten down the eyebrow really well. There you go. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but can you see this? Can you see that? Yeah, the glue is tacky. Yeah, this is the moment when you can actually apply the prosthetics. And then they will stay forever. There won't. You need a very specific remover for this. I mean, you can remove prosthetics glue with even shaving cream and like coconut oil, but you know, being professionals, you really need to be really mindful of your model and have the proper materials. There you go. Any more questions?
Yes, there's one just here.
Hi, maybe you could give us an insight when working for movies and series. What kind of feedback do you get, and how do you handle it, or how do you maybe iterate on your things and prosthetics?
Sorry, say again?
When working for movies and series, what kind of feedback do you usually get, and how do you like handle it or put it into your prosthetics?
Right, you mean from production and things like this. So sometimes, for example, the thing I can think of, the most recent thing that I cannot talk about, but I can say, you know, things have been approved. So essentially you just work with the design you've been given. If you get a supervisor, it will be down to them to direct the creative process. And then you will have a fitting or a screen test. And then from there, you will get 100% feedback. Most likely you will have to change things. It's really rare that the first design and the first test gets approved right away. So the one thing that we did last week, so we sculpted, it got taken, and it got approved, half of it got approved. So the other half needs to be redone, rechecked again, do another fitting. So it has to be, I'm assuming you're asking as well if you take it personal or something like this. Is that what you mean? You can't take it personal, it's just part of the job. So yeah, it has to be done in a very professional manner, I think. So yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah, great, thank you.
Hola, buenas.
Hola.
Got a quick question. How heavy can these prosthetics get? Is there a point where you have to build in support so that it's not too heavy for the actor beneath?
Really good question. So silicone is actually a very heavy material. Something really, really big, you will have to either get, as you said, a structure underneath, or sometimes they would use foam latex. So foam latex was heavily used in the 80s and 90s. So silicone is a fairly new process, actually. Foam latex, because it's like a sponge, it's foamed, as it says, foamed latex, right? So it's latex that's been mixed with some chemicals and it's been whisked, and it adds micro bubbles, and then all those bubbles like create a really big volume. So this much of foam latex becomes this much of foam latex. And that doesn't weigh anything. It's really, really light. So the example I always give is the like a Minotaur. So you wouldn't want to make a Minotaur out of silicone because that's going to be really heavy. Silicone also doesn't transpire, so you're going to be sweating buckets underneath. You good? Yeah, cool. Always check on your model.
Be honest.
So all those things and all those materials will be taken into account before you do that. There's some makeups, like, making someone larger and things like this. Like, for example, the bloater from The Last of Us. That is a suit. So it is a combination of different materials. And obviously that will get, even when you use lighter materials, because it's so big, it will get heavy. So you just want to work in favor of the comfort of your model and performer. Thank you.
Cool, great question. And just here.
Adding to this, if you have like mushrooms sticking out really far and then the actor is supposed to run, like how do you make the stuff not like wobble around that it looks silicone?
Well, I mean, it depends on the type of mushroom. Some mushrooms are quite flexible. So I guess it's not a joke, it's true. I guess you have to take that into consideration. So silicone is quite flexible, but silicone can be also very hard. You can add different elements. So this, for example, here, can I move your face over there? Right, so these are one type of mushrooms. You see that this is really soft, yeah? These are the different type of mushrooms. So you can add Detna, which is a material that you add to silicone to make it more soft, like softer and more flexible, or you can add a hardener, and it depends on the hardness of the actual silicone. So it's doable. Yeah, you can have a prosthetic with different types of silicone to mimic different types of elements. So yeah, good question.
Thank you, good one. Right, I'll come here first.
¿No te muevas?
Do you have a personal film or inspiration or project that made you start prosthetics?
Ooh, any 80s film, really. Well, I'm a big fan of Jaws, as you can see. 50th anniversary this year, by the way. I would say Terminator, Legend. Legend is, do you know Legend from Ridley Scott? Great film. That is, I would say, like the biggest inspiration for me. Like, The Lot of Darkness is such an amazing character. The sculpture, the makeup, everything is beautiful. Like, the whole film is a beautiful production. So I would say Legend is one of the main ones, yeah.
Bibi,
Yep.
if you were on set gluing this down or even later painting it, and your prosthetic that you've got there broke, what would happen? I mean, would you panic? Would you have a backup?
You always have spares. You have to. If you don't have enough spares, sometimes when you are on set, there's another part of the set where there's like a workshop area, so you can keep running prosthetics and things like this. So you don't have to go back to your main workshop or the main people that run the prosthetics. It happened once where I was working. I worked on Willow, so I worked on the sequel TV show.
Yep.
And a few years ago, and we had one of the actors that I don't know if he got some pictures. There's some pictures somewhere, and he had some like scarifications over here, and he had to wear a helmet as well. So he will wear the helmet on, he will take it off, and it will rip the prosthetics, right? So you need to be like really quick on your toes and know how to fix things, and know how to fix things that they will look good on camera as well. If it's something really, really bad, you will have to reapply it, yeah. But I mean, if that happens, you're in trouble.
Yeah, sure. Gonna let you keep going there. I'll come down in a second.
Cool.
I just saw someone pop up and take a photo. Really, if anyone wants to do that when it gets a bit further along. You also had your social media person there right on your back, BB, before. Sorry about that.
There was, huh?
There was a social media person taking a video. You might not have even noticed.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. Cierra los ojos para mí. Para mí. We're almost finished gluing down all the main bits. Yeah. Just a bit more. This is really good glue, actually. I mean, it should be because it's really expensive. So. There you go. Any more questions?
Okay, yes, there are. There was someone just here, right?
When working with VFX teams, would you share your sculpts with them, or would it be easier for them to just make their own from scratch?
It really depends. I would say if it's an approved sculpture, they will scan it. You know, there's a lot of scanning going on. It really depends on the project. If it's the same character, it would be, if it's been traditionally sculpted, it will get scanned and it will be reworked, or or if it needs to evolve in like a evolution of the same character later on throughout the film or throughout the series, then they can do that on VFX or on the computer. But yeah, it most likely will have to be scanned, I think.
But you also said you do ZBrush sculpts. Would you share them then?
Yeah. Oh, Philosoph?
It's a good question. If anyone was at the Sinners talk yesterday, I think that was such a great example of collaboration between makeup effects and visual effects, where Michael, the makeup effects artist, he didn't necessarily use ZBrush, but he did make maquettes and busts, and the visual effects team scanned pieces of prosthetics he'd made and sculpts. And then also, at some point, I don't want to ruin the film, but there's some scenes where the characters go off in flames. It is a zombie film. And he knew that the way that they wanted to shoot that sequence was it would be too fast and too many takes to do resets on the actor. So he just made a human-sized bust with burns and things like that, and that was only for use for visual effects. So it was so they could scan it, photograph it, photogrammetry it, and then effectively they would produce it in CG. But as far as I can tell, when I cover other projects, they don't really do that. Sometimes makeup effects is a really separate thing, and sometimes visual effects is coming in to fix things. On Sinners, I thought they did such a great job in collaborating. That was a great presentation yesterday, wasn't it, BV?
It was really good. Yeah, it was amazing. Right.
Okay, I'll come down the front here.
I want this.
Hey, Bibi, nice to meet you.
Hello.
I wanted
Hi.
to ask if you also use 3D prints for some of your prosthetic, or is it maybe not so practical because it's like harder and maybe just for some parts, or yeah?
It is right now heavily used in the process of prosthetics. So they would most people would work on a 3D printed live cast. So now it's like just 3D scanning the model. You know, they can keep their eyes open. They can they don't get claustrophobic or anything like that. So it would be 3D printing. Sometimes you need to fix a lot of things in the 3D print thing because they're not going to print a whole head, so it has to be printed in sections and things like this. Mold making now is being 3D printed as well. I don't know a lot about new materials, but I think you can even 3D print foam at the moment. So at some point you're going to have to, you'll be able to 3D print a person. And they say, there you go, off you go. But yeah, so it is a process of, everything is integrated, right? So everything has to be evolving, everything has to be incorporated in the new technologies because that's why they've been made. So yeah, it is happening, yes. Thank you.
And how long would it take to like take this off afterwards when it's finished? I was wondering because you said you had to use a special thing to remove the glue.
Yeah, it would take about Oh, de-rigging is my least favorite thing. I hate it so much.
Yeah, you destroy the art, and it's kind of
it's not
painful.
that. It's
Is
just
it?
the remover. I don't like the texture of it. But it will take about half an hour, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, to make sure that he's like human again.
Thanks.
Yeah. So,
So-
this thing.
I'm just going to let you know, we've got about 20 minutes to go.
Okay, that's good.
So
Right. This thing over here, this is not part of the prosthetic. It's called flashing. If you see the prosthetic has been framed by a strip of silicone, that's the flashing, and we have that there so we can manipulate the prosthetic, so the cap plastic doesn't, fold onto itself, and then we lose the cap plastic, which is the thing that is going to give us invisible edges. So so if you wonder what this is, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, next question.
okay, just here.
Hi.
Hello.
It's really cool seeing the process, so thank you so much for that. I wanted to ask, you did say that most of the time, if it's like a custom-made thing, you have a mold of the person and it's very specific. But in this case, if it's more of a generalized thing, if the mold doesn't fit, how do you deal with that? Do you cut parts off if they're too big?
For something like this, I will try to make it smaller rather than bigger. Yeah. So I sculpted it on a life cast of myself, which is a very similar size and shape head to my brother's, but slightly smaller. So I know it's always going to fit. It's not going to be bigger than him. If I were to sculpt it on him and then put it on myself, most likely it will be too big for my face. Yeah. So I will always, if it's something generic or like a more general shape, I will try to make it smaller rather than bigger. Yeah. So that way you avoid a lot of problems. You will have to otherwise, trim and cut and things like this. Yeah.
Great question.
So what I'm doing here now is I'm blending, that cap plastic. Ale, no abras los ojos, ¿vale? So I just asked my model to not open their eyes now because I'm blending this because this is a alcohol-based cap plastic, meaning it gets dissolved with IPA, with alcohol. So obviously I don't want any of the fumes to get into his eye because otherwise it's going to be slightly uncomfortable. Yeah, can you see that there now? Can you see that it's like coming out of his forehead a little bit?
Yeah, we can see it, right? That's great.
And once it's painted, it's going to be scary.
Got a question?
Thank you, amazing session. How much overlap there is between these kind of film prosthetics and the medical ones?
And regular makeup.
And medical prosthetics, I guess.
Oh, medical. Sorry.
People use it for.
There is an overlap. I've been trying to get into that because I like anatomical stuff. I actually do a lot of medical jobs, as in like I create pressure ulcers and diabetic pressure ulcers and things like this for medical videos. So they train nurses how to dress those videos with new products and things like this. But that's because I've got a personal interest in anatomy and pathology. We come from a family of doctors, so it's always been like that at home. But there is an overlap, so we use things like this for medical training or military as well. So they do that in Germany actually. There's something about cadets or like simulations, I say, when things happen, when you go to war and things happen and then you need to dress wounds and things like that. It's something that we do nowadays, yes, and that is prosthetics. Yeah, so there's an overlap with this kind of stuff. With prosthetics for people that maybe they lost an eye or they lost part of the nose and things like this, it is the process and the processes are very similar. So obviously it's all very related. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I guess more a question for the model, but once applied, how long do you plan on keeping the mask on? Because you said you're going to get dinner later. Are you going to go to dinner with the mask on?
Una pregunta para ti. ¿Te has escuchado? No. Vale, te preguntan que si después de que te termine de hacer el maquillaje, que cuánto tiempo planeas dejarte el maquillaje puesto, porque luego vamos a la gala de cena. Sí.
Tengo que pensarlo.
Oh, he needs to think about it. Yeah.
Maybe it depends how good it looks.
Maybe he will see it and be like, oh, yeah, this is quite nice. Yeah, cool.
Just letting you know there's 16 minutes.
Cool, perfect. So
Another
I am
question?
blending all
These
of
are great
these.
questions, by the way.
Yeah.
Do
And you
you
see
mind
things
passing that
like
down?
this in here. So that I'm leaving like that deliberately because that's going to have to be applied over the eyelid. So I want to be really, really careful with that, yeah? So there's bits that you can glue later on, yeah, if it's really a delicate area. But yeah, for now, I'm just blending as much as I can. Then I can go again around with the glue, touch-ups, and then we can start painting. Cool. Next question.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question about if there are some allergic reactions, like how do you avoid some people having allergic reactions, or are they just not able to wear prosthetics then?
Yeah, so you need to know beforehand if the person's got any allergies, yeah? So these are all hypoallergenic, so they're all being treated and they'll be tested. So silicone, I can't think of anyone who's got an allergy to silicone. There's a lot of people that've got latex allergies, yeah? So for those people, for example, they couldn't wear any foam latex or any latex props or things like this. You need to do a test first. You need to do it beforehand. You need to know if the person's got any allergies. Then you need to do a patch test. And then, yeah, it should be all very controlled. So it's all beforehand, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering what types of colors you're using so that it sticks on the silicone but also looks natural like skin.
Ooh, really good question. So I've got these palettes here. I'll show you 2 samples of them. So I've got this one here. Yeah. There you go. These are the colors. And you get smaller palettes as well. These are also really expensive. These are alcohol activated pigments, yeah? So if you've ever played with watercolors or even like, you know, any simulations like on Photoshop and things like that, like the brushes that they do the watercolor strokes, yeah? The way you use it is like in washes of color, right? So that's the way of applying this. This is a translucent rubber at the end of the day, and it's gonna accumulate pigment, right? So you need to work layer by layer, little by little. The encapsulation, because it's alcohol-based, it will absorb the alcohol from the pigments that have been activated with alcohol. So that's gonna integrate into the actual prosthetics. Now, there's other prosthetics are made with acetone-based cat plastic. I personally try to avoid acetone. I mean, acetone melts plastic, like any plastic. If you pour acetone in here, it will make a mess. It will it's almost like an alien, you know, the xenomorph blood almost. So I try to avoid that, but it's commonly used in the industry. A lot of professionals, they use acetone, but they know what they're doing, right? So when they remove the excess and then when they blend the cat plastic, they know how much to use so that it doesn't really go on the skin, so it's safe. But I prefer to use IPA. You know, it's astringent. It's always okay to use on skin. It's a disinfectant. You need to use that for the palettes anyway. So it's a way of integrating the color into the prosthetic. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Great, cool, thank you. Any more
12 minutes, BB.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'll go down the front. I'll come back to you.
Cool, cool, cool.
Hello.
Hello.
If the body paint is alcohol activated, doesn't it also dissolve parts of the plastic of the prosthetic? Doesn't that kind of make a problem?
So the theory is yes, but because you're going to apply it little by little, you're going to be very subtle. It doesn't really remove it. It's going to reactivate the cat plastic and it's going to absorb the pigment. Okay. And the IPA evaporates really quickly. So by the time it's grabbed, the pigment is already evaporated, so it's not going to remove anything. So the way you paint, it would be like dabbing like that. It's not going to be doing this. If you do this, that's when you remove things. So it's just dabbing. And dabbing is the technique that's going to give you the most realistic skin tones and skin textures. Yeah.
And another question, because it's alcohol activated, how close to the eye can you use the body paints because of the fumes?
Well, let's say I'd rather use alcohol close to the eye than acetone. So, yeah. I mean, the model should be having the eyes closed at all times. Yeah, so it's fine as long as the eyes are closed. Fumes are not going to go in. If they go in, they're going to be very mild. So it's not going to be too much. And this is the amount. I'm just dabbing a bit, and it's not dripping or anything. So it should be, as long as it's not dripping, it should be safe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. JC, did you have a question? No? I have.
Thank you again. You mentioned something earlier about sweat and this not being very breathable. Can you talk more about that and how you deal with that?
Sweat, yes. So silicone is a it doesn't have pores, yeah. So it's a non-porous material. So it's water resistant, it's waterproof, and all of this. For that same reason, it doesn't allow anything to go through. And if you sweat underneath, inevitably you're going to start building sweat pockets, yeah. When that happens with foam latex, for example, the foam latex, because it's a sponge, it absorbs it. So when you remove that makeup, sometimes it's really stinky, yeah. With silicone, sometimes if it's something really, really big, it will start maybe like find its way, yeah, and you might find like a little drop coming down. Simply just dry it, go inside the prosthetic, underneath and between the prosthetic and the skin, dab it, dry it, reapply it, reglue it, fix it, and then it's done. It's all good. Yeah.
Right. I'll come back up around there.
See.
Hi. I have a question for your model. How does it feel right now on your face?
¿Cómo te sientes?
Tú respondes, ¿no? Bien, bien. Solamente a veces pica un poco aquí la nariz, me está picando, pero bien, bien.
Right. So he feels good. Sometimes like a bit itchy up there. I mean, there's no prosthetic in there, but it might be just like a nervous reaction. So.
Es extraño que tengo un ojo tapado y la sensación es extraña, pero.
So he feels a bit weird because one of his eyes is shut, right? So he can't see from one eye while the other one is open. So that's a bit of a new and weird experience. But other than that, he feels fine. He's comfortable. But yeah, thank you.
Another question?
Just, is it hot underneath or?
Is it hot?
Yeah.
No, he said no.
No.
Yeah. Good.
Can you tell us something about teeth? Like if you stuck artificial teeth on the existing teeth, how do you blend and how do you make like knots that you cannot see the real teeth?
Oh, teeth. Those would be dentures. So it would be essentially like when you go to the dentist and they do an impression of your teeth. But nowadays they will 3D scan it, right? So you 3D scan the teeth, you print the teeth, so you get a set of your dentures, you sculpt on top of those, make another mold out of it. So you get a positive of your teeth, a negative of the sculpture of your new teeth, and then you use a dental resin, this is very specific for that kind of stuff, and you make like a sandwich, yeah, and you put the resin inside, and then when you open the mold again, you get the new dentures. So the inside of the dentures is exactly the shape of your teeth, but the outside is the new teeth. So when you put them on, it's like they fit perfectly on you, and yeah, it's like a very specific dental procedure. But there's a lot of professionals that started doing that. So they started as dentists, and they ended up doing prosthetic teeth for all the films and everything. So some of the best ones are in the UK, and they've done teeth for some of my personal projects, which is it is an honor, really.
These have been such great questions. We're obviously only got about 5 minutes left.
No.
So And as planned, Bibi's going to go back down to her booth after this and continue the demo, which might just take a few minutes of organising things. But I thought, Bibi, maybe you just might mention while you're doing that, what would normally be the next steps that you take to integrate the prosthetic in and paint it and whatnot?
Yeah, so if we look over there. So right now it's almost all blended. If there's so this edge over here actually is quite nice, it's good. So when you see it up close, it's a very smooth transition from the prosthetic onto the skin. So it's invisible, really. If there was something, it would be a bit of a harder edge. You could blend a bit further with something we call Pro Bondo or Pro Shade. So there's ways of, blending further if something is not quite just right there. So that would be the next one. It'd be like gluing down this bit in here, that other bit that's going to go on the eyelid, and then just start painting, really. Yeah, it takes a bit of time, but then when I talk and explain things, it takes longer.
Of course.
So, yeah.
But you are going to proceed to paint down at the booth. That's right, BB?
Yep.
Is it?
That's correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And will the eye always be covered, or are you cutting...
This eye?
Yeah.
That's always going to be covered.
Always going to be covered, yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna have to have me next to him, direct him a little bit.
Okay, I can help too. Any other questions while we're still just finishing up here? Yep. I'll pass this down here.
I was wondering if prosthetics ever gets, if there's any electronics integrated in it to create movements or maybe lights from within.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Animatronics. So there's it's something that goes within as well. I don't do animatronics, so I can say exactly the whole intrinsic process, but it's a thing that is done, absolutely, because you get aliens on Star Wars or any other, sci-fi films, for example. It's a person, and then you get the big face in there with 3 eyes, and those eyes are blinking, Yeah, absolutely. Animatronics is a thing that is also used for prosthetics.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're almost there. So before we're finished, I'm going to be cheeky again and promote my book. Because
yes, could you switch to the PowerPoint slides? Thanks. And there's just a link here to BB's book and a QR code. So if you'd like to scan that.
So yeah, essentially I created this for beginners, also cosplayers, because that's, that's how I got started. So I will always be grateful to the community, really. And another thing, in a lot of manuals, there wasn't enough diversity with models. So yeah, everyone know how to do prosthetic on a white person, but what about everything else, So there was that in the market that was missing, so I wanted to contribute and make things a bit better. So that's why I created this book. As I said, if you're interested, or if you want to support an artist, also if you want to make my suitcase a bit lighter, please. It's really heavy, I don't want to take it back. That's please. No, they're really heavy. So yeah, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, if you know someone who's interested in this kind of stuff, and there's nothing in mainland Europe where they can go and start learning, this is a good way to start. Yeah, not just because of my book, but it's good. I will teach you everything that you need to know for flat prosthetics.
Brilliant. And just a reminder, in about 10-15 minutes, we'll go down to the booth. Or we'll be set up down there. And then BB's also going to be there on Thursday at 12:30 and Friday at 12:30 with completely different, right, BB? Different prosthetics.
Yeah, they're going to be, who knows? They
Still won't tell me what they are.
I don't know. I've got a selection, so it could be anything. It could be anything, really. Maybe zombie, regular zombie stuff? More classical zombie stuff, maybe? Cierra los ojos.
Bibi, you also had, if some people who can't come and see the rest of the demo, there's something else on your table there, right, that you've got that was part of the No? Am I making that up?
Oh, well,
Oh my God.
I don't know. What is it?
I thought I saw something. What are these things here?
Oh, yeah. These things. So these are tattoos, sort of temporarily tattoos. So this is actually a company from Germany, from Berlin. They are TC, so it's Twilight Creations is one of the, I don't know, all of their workshops or all of the studios in Germany, but it's one of the main ones, yeah? So Twilight Creations, they are based in Berlin. They do a lot of the practical special effects in Germany. And they sell this, oh, sorry, there you go, there. Yeah. So it's like when you are a kid and you get that temporary tattoo from like chewing gum and things like that, you just put it down with water. Essentially, it's that, and it's used a lot in films. Yeah. So they were talking in Sinners.
Sinners. Yep.
Yeah. They use this a lot as well. So they do design. Some people do design their own temporary tattoos, like wounds and things like this. So I was thinking maybe I could. I could use one of them, this one here, like a veiny, that one there. Like a veiny one, maybe on the other side of the face. Yeah, so we could do that. And that's just water-based, literally. So we'll see. We'll do that after we finish the other one, just in case it doesn't work. Like, it will work, but it might not work with the design, that's what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
Well, we have to wrap it up. So can you please thank BB and the model, Alejandro.
Thank you so much. Right, I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting to have a full room. It means a lot, especially because I'm here in a digital world convention, and you guys came to see something that's completely different. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Muy bien. Yeah, then we're good for painting.
Really fun job.
It's a really fun job. It is, right? Yeah. It's cool because it's like almost like you're playing,
Can I do that again for the other? Wow.
Sí, una productora. ¿Qué? De AI.
¿Ya están quitando todo? ¿Sí?